Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Morning coffee.
Cheers. Morning coffee.
We got some special guests today. Oh, I'm so excited for I love Fridays. We always have our special guests. You know, not that I get tired of you, Jeremy, but I like to mix it up.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, we like to get those other guys on here anyways.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Friday's our day to spotlight some wonderful people that we are in business with. And this week, our Agent Spotlight is the wonderful, amazing Carie and Heber team. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you, and you guys have been doing an unbelievable job specifically over the last two months. I mean, you guys are a great team just in general, year in and year out. But yeah, we want to hear a little bit from you guys of what's going on in your world. You know, this pandemic is crazy, but you know, at the start of the year, you guys set out a mission. So tell us, let's start there. January 1, because you guys came to me and said, hey, these are our goals. This is what we want to do. Walk us through that process and how you guys got from there to here, where we are today.
So at the beginning of the year, we wanted to do 60 transactions.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than we had ever done. We kind of mapped out how we were going to do that. We broke that down to monthly, weekly, you know, escrows, activities, all of that. And then COVID happened. So that derailed our plan in a big way. So, you know, we were sitting home on our couch for a good 3-4 weeks doing absolutely zero, and then just decided we had to turn that around. So we took advantage of the fact that people were sitting home doing nothing as well. And luckily they picked up their phone and they answered their texts, and people who were usually too busy to do that all of a sudden started answering. So
yeah, Carie was texting, and she was texting and calling like consistently. I was watching her do it. I was kind of in a little funk myself. I kind of fell in a little funk, but she really grabbed the conversations, and she started running with it, right? And she was doing well, I think we kind of catapult each other whenever we grab like strides, and then we kind of watch the other one kind of go, and it kind of we motivate each other in a sense, right? And for me, I just needed to get out. We started walking a lot, and that led to bicycling, and then she doesn't really like bicycling at
6 a.m. is not my thing.
So yeah. But you know what? I'll tell you, sure, what you got something interesting is I used to see these big hills around here, right? In Valencia, there's big hills. And I would get to the halfway up the hill, and I would start telling myself it hurts, it can't do it. And then I would just on like a, you know, Ed Milet is one of my favorites. You know, some Tony Robbins, just something to get somebody else to tell me something different than what I'm telling myself. And before I knew it, I was up the hill. It was interesting, and at the same time, my body was getting stronger, right? So now, like, those hills aren't really a challenge. And I think a lot of that happens in business too, and it kind of catapulted into business, is that you can take that mindset that you walk into where you think you can't do it, and you have somebody else that kind of is holding you accountable to doing it or making it, you know, uncomfortable for you, but you push past it, and then you wind up on the other end where now you're stronger and you have those, you know, those attributes or those accomplishments, you know?
Man, that is so. Just so we can put some context around this, so the people watching today, because they don't get to see what DJ and I get to see, because we get to see the numbers. So let's just put some context around this. In these last couple weeks, right? So I think there's 4 that closed this week, and 8 more to close. So we're talking, just so people understand the context, 12 escrows in the matter of a few weeks, all coming to fruition. But we talked about this because I'm fortunate that I get to have some private conversations with you guys. So I want the people watching right now to get that context, is that what we did is I asked you this question. I said, okay, 12, like, that's incredible, right? And it may be give or take a couple even more as you're going. It's probably going to end up being closer to 15. But we said, okay, so wait a minute, let's back up, right? What led to that? And you just said it right now, and I don't want people to gloss over this. It's super important. As you just said, there's a hill that I wanted to climb, and it was physically, I had to do it, right? I wanted to get on my bike. I wanted to prove to myself that I could physically climb this hill. But that hill is an exact same context of where you were in your business. I had nothing going. We were stricken with COVID rules and regulations that we weren't prepared for, that we weren't expecting, I should say. And yet there was a hill there as well. So here we do have these two hills. And isn't it really prophetic in the sense that you started physically doing it and all of a sudden the business came along with it? And again, and I asked Carie this question earlier in the week, and I'll ask it again, so I said, well, what were you doing that has led to this? What happened? Because where is this? And again, you're right in the sense that you two complement each other so well. It's such a beautiful thing to see, especially from my position, is to see how well you complement each other. Where she doesn't necessarily, she does the physical stuff too. I mean, she's in great shape. She's very focused on her nutrition. She loves that side. Like that's a passion for her. But for you, it was, I have to go climb this damn hill. For her, it was, I got to get on the damn phone and start reaching out, that empathetic factor, that care call factor, right? So as different as they are, they're so much the same. And I hope people understand that one leads to the other, and the two of you doing it together is what has just exploded. It's so beautiful to see. So Carie, what was it that you started doing months ago that led to this? And then we'll go to Heber as well.
Just texting. Honestly, it sounds a little cheesy, but I made this templated text, and I made templated responses based on the responses I was getting. So I would send this template out, and honestly, I don't even remember what it was. It was so long ago, but it was basically like, hey, just checking in on you and your family. Do you guys have everything you need? Because back then we couldn't get toilet paper and things like that, right? I mean, we were fine, right, but some people couldn't. So it was just a text like that. And then I would get a response, and then we would go back and forth. And I started keeping in my notes on my phone all the responses that I was sending back and forth, because a lot of them fit in many situations. So I would just go back and forth with people. And I think probably in one day, I don't know, I counted probably 60 different people I was communicating with in one day. So I was just having days like that where I would just be texting nonstop back and forth. But I made it easy on myself because I had templated the majority of it.
That's all. Leverage.
So that was just it. I mean, it always went into real estate. Just know that. And I didn't bring it up.
But it also, I think if you read the majority of her texts, they all come from like, how can I help you? How can I be of value to you? Like she started a Facebook page, and the Facebook page was all about creating resources for where to find like things that she was describing, toilet paper and stuff like that. She was creating that stuff, and like, just being a service to the community. That's really what the goal was. And that's what got us through that point. And, it's always hard to kind of to attach what came from what directly, right? But you create that energy, and you create that awareness to people that that's what you're about. And then, it comes back, that and maintaining relationships with like CRM management and note cards and just simple stuff that we've been pretty consistent with over the last couple of years, right? And maintaining those relationships so that when that time comes for people, you're the person they're thinking of.
Yeah, I have the luxury of talking with you guys a lot, and Heber, you always tell me that you both of you do a really good job of assessing your business and seeing what you can do better, what you need, what can you get rid of, and so I'm happy to hear that Carrie's. All right, Nico. Yeah, is you're creating leverage in your life for the most simplest of things, of like, okay, how do I make my business go to that next level? And templated text and response
Easy.
and track. It's super easy, but you know what? It really does save so much time, because there's so many times where I'm like, oh my God, I'm saying the same thing, and it's like, okay, let me just make a template, copy paste. So Carie, can you give us an example of that dialogue because you said you never brought up real estate.
I didn't.
So how did that go? Like, hey, just checking in on you. So what was that? Give us a sample.
Yeah, just checking in on you and your family. How's everybody holding up during this time? And then they would reply back, we're doing okay. And, I'd ask them, do you have everything you need? I started a Facebook page. Here's the link to it. Just if you're out of anything that you're looking for and you can't seem to find, post, something there that you're looking for. And it was really actually a really cool thing, because the other people that were on there would see that somebody was looking for paper towels or whatever, and they would be at a specific store and they would write on there, I'm at the Vons on, on Copper Hill or whatever, and they have it right now. Do you want me to pick it up for you? Mm-hmm. And it was a really cool thing. I actually was looking for Tylenol. I couldn't find Tylenol for the longest time, because everyone was
buying baby Tylenol, right?
Everyone was buying Tylenol, and there was tons of Motrin and Advil on the shelves, but you couldn't find Tylenol, and they were saying don't take that because it, could make COVID worse, or I don't remember exactly, but I actually had a client of mine find it at Costco and shipped it to my house. Right. So that was a really cool thing, which, definitely made me be top of mind with them. But every single time the conversation did go to real estate, they would say, how are you doing? Like, are you able to work, or what are you doing? And I'd say, no, we're home. We're just home. We can't really do anything, because at that time we didn't show houses. Yeah. So they would ask, and I was asking about their job, they would ask about my job. It's very reciprocal, and that's always happened to me anyways, just even in my conversations before all of this happened. I'm somebody who likes to be more authentic in my conversations. I feel really weird calling friends and family and being like, oh, so this is a business call. I won't do it. I always am more like nonchalant about the conversation.
Yeah, you're softer in your approach. Yeah.
I want to call in. I'll ask about them, but it's reciprocal. They always ask about.
So ask about them. That I just want to make sure, like, boom, right there. You ask about them, because guess what? They'll ask about you, and the natural conversation of how these go is just, they ask about your business, and there you go. There's your tie-in. And so why I brought up was, like, you guys are always assessing your business, is because this was a conscious business decision. You're like, okay, I need to get refocused. I need to, we need to get business. And you pivoted really well, and 60 texting conversations going on at once. That's crazy. So I'm just so happy to hear that, like, it worked, right?
One of the biggest things that we did immediately too was we went straight to our budget conversation. And we do that every month, but that was really what we went straight to. And I slashed thousands of dollars a month in one day. And we did it.
Yeah. I thought we were going to be more gradual about it, but she was like, no, we don't do this.
I was like, no, sorry, that's gone. And I did it a couple different times, to where I just did like layers of, okay, well, we thought we needed Mojo in the beginning, so I didn't slash that, but I cut it back. But then, 2 months into it, I was like, we haven't used it. It's gone.
So that's what we do too. We assess it monthly, and that allows us to adapt quicker if we're able to see where our money's being spent, and if this technology is changing. We got the Zoom, the pay account, right, to do our virtual open houses.
Yep.
So you just adapt, but then if you're not using it, then you cut it again. So you do it quickly before.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really important is monthly assessments, right? You're assessing monthly. And I think it's really important, because what you just said for Carie especially is authentic conversations. And even if it wasn't this pandemic, even if there wasn't COVID, that works. like we get caught up in like, oh, we need to ask everybody if they want to buy or sell real estate. And no, we don't. Like, that's not true. We need to be authentic to ourselves and authentic to the relationship. And that's truly, if I can honestly say, in the assessment and watching you guys and getting to know you over the last few years, that's the biggest thing is you're so authentic to who you are as a couple, as individuals. And that's what drives people. That's what attracts people to you, that they knew that you were coming from a very authentic place. That's what makes the reciprocation available. Because if they don't, if they actually felt like you were being disingenuous, and they probably don't ask you back. That's a true story, right? How many people have said to you like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm fine," and you don't ask them how they're doing, right? Because you know it's disingenuous, right? You're like,
how gross would that be of someone during COVID to make a sales call? That would be the worst.
Right, totally.
But that's a big thing, because for me, I'm very personal. Like, I love being out and interacting, and now you throw me on a couch for 3 weeks, and it funked me up, man. It really did.
Well, man, I hear you. This is where we wanted to go. You have to tell this story because it's so perfect. Is you are a social being. You thrive in those arenas. In your non-rep stuff and all those meetings, like, you're a social being. And now we just sit you on the couch, and all of a sudden it funked you up.
I like it. I'm stealing it. Funked you up.
Well, I really do attribute the exercise part for helping me get out of my head, because I think that's what it was. And then after that, just communicating with people, I think it creates energy. You become more energetic, and you reach out. And I've always been one to talk on the phone, and I talk on the phone just with anybody for any reason, really. Ask Carie. I just love talking to people. So, and when the conversation starts turning where people start having to make life decisions, just so happen to have to make life decisions because COVID kind of let them either realize that their place was too small, too big. They love the people they wanted to be with, and they want to enjoy it in a bigger house, or maybe they didn't, and they needed to buy 2 houses. We were there to help them do whatever their life was moving into, right? And however the world was adapting, we were just people that could help them find what they needed at that point in their life, right? And because we always called them, we sent them note cards, we mail to them, we stay in contact with them, and that's the big thing that I think has, I think I said it earlier this week, luck favors the prepared, but things turned into that direction, and we've always been proactive with staying in touch with people.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you guys are doing a fantastic job. You are, I think, officially capped. So as of, I think.
By the way.
What's that? What's that?
We didn't know that.
Oh, well, there you go. Congratulations. Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be coming from him. That should be coming from Denise. So hold off a second.
All right. Can I retract that statement? No, that's great because you guys just put your head down and you worked. That's what I love to hear. It's like, I didn't even realize that. So keep up the unbelievable work. I know both of us are extremely proud and privileged to be in business with y'all. And you guys are great agents, but even better people, which is even more important. So I just want to say thank you. Keep it up. And, cheers for being on Morning Coffee with us. Yeah.
Cheers, you guys. Thanks for being part of it. You guys are awesome.
Take care.
Awesome. All right, guys.